You know how you lay in bed at night and
Oh,
you
no.
talk about all the things from your past? Like,
Yes.
hey, what do you think ever happened to that couple in high school? You know, the one that got married like as soon as we graduated? What do you think ever happened to them?
Okay, are they talking about us again? Oh, I love that. I love that. You know what? I love reminiscing, and I love seeing people from the past. I love seeing where they're going and what they're doing.
But I think that's why we get on Facebook, is because we're
is.
like, oh my gosh, what happened to so and so?
It is.
Well, we're going to give you the tea, except it's about us. It's about all the things that everybody talked about Mark and Becky.
Okay, well then let's do some quick introductions so people know who this is that's talking. I'm going to introduce you, and you can introduce me. And I'm always interested on how this is going to work out because this is never scripted or planned how we're going to introduce each other. All right, so
Mark thinks better on his feet than I do.
well, thank goodness we're sitting down. So So Becky Leonard is my amazing, amazing best friend who has been by my side through thick and thin. And it is actually this woman right here has taught me so much in life. And well,
I mean, I guess we'll get to that.
yeah, we'll probably get to that.
Tell me more.
But
Tell me more.
tell me, like things like, oh, you know, sweetheart, you probably shouldn't have done that at the gym today.
Another story for another day.
Okay. But Becky is the mother of 6. She is a grandmother of 12. She is currently going to school pursuing her bachelor's from Northern Arizona University in, what is your degree? I always say exercise physiology.
I mean, ultimately, I will be an exercise physiologist. However, I think that my official degree is something like health wellness. It really doesn't. I don't think that the degree name really, I think it's kind of meh.
I think we need to petition NAU and be like, oh, that's exactly what I want to be when I grow up, is a health wellness. Like, what is that?
It's not very fancy.
No.
It's not very cool sounding.
She is also the proxy mother of, I don't know, how many employees do we have right now? 25. Yeah, 25.
At the current moment.
And growing.
So good.
And she has this huge, huge interest in mindset, a huge interest, obviously, in exercise and physiology, and getting ready to, should we say it out loud, what you're getting ready to apply for?
Let's say it out loud.
Let's say it out loud.
Bring it into existence.
Okay, and she's getting ready to apply for her doctorate of physical therapy. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Scary.
Amazing, because if you do that, I will have a lot less bills for me.
That's true. A lot less physical therapy bills.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I know, the degree will pay for itself.
Yes, it will.
This right here is Mark Leonard. Also, my absolute best friend. You took that from me, but I can take it too, right?
Absolutely.
My absolute best friend. My partner in everything. You know, that is it Taylor Swift that sings like Lover?
Yes.
Whatever that song is, that's my guy.
Now, this is
He's
a
amazing.
family-rated show, so let's be careful with what we say about Lover.
All right. Okay, edit it. He has his doctorate in leadership development and positive psychology, and it was a really beautiful, long, hard road to get there that the kids and I all supported him through. It's been a big, long journey for him of growth with mindset and with leadership, and he's got incredible skills at being able to coach people. He is a high-performance coach and is just phenomenal at being able to hear what people are saying without them saying it and be able to coach them in a way that helps them to figure out what their next steps need to be without him telling them what to do. He's the what do I want to say? Like
Entrepreneur whisperer.
whisperer. Yes, that is the exact word.
Yes.
Look at that. He's reading my mind too, right?
See,
Right there.
okay, so Becky, why do people want to listen to the Happiness Breakthrough podcast? What is going to be in it for them? And then I want to get into kind of where we started.
Because we got answers and we got life that leads up to helping you guys with travailing all of the things that you're going through and giving you skills that will help you get to whatever your excellent life looks like. And sometimes we just get stuck in the mire and don't know where to go next. And we're going to help you get there. But we're going to have fun along the way because we love to laugh.
Yes, we love to laugh. Oh, there's a promise with that, and we'll get to that. You know, the other thing I was thinking about is there is a question that I am asked constantly. It is, how do you accomplish so much in life? How is it everything you touch turns to gold? And I think that's one of the things that we're going to answer along the way. But I think before we can really answer how is it that everything we touch turns to gold, I think we need to give some backstory, because what I don't like is that's what only thing that people see is that. And they don't necessarily know who we are and where we started from. Mm-hmm. So could we take a time machine back to 1990? Oh my goodness, that sounds so old. Oh, that sounded so much better in my head.
That's like those memes that are like, I just realized that there's as many years between now and 1990 as there were between 1990 and 1930 or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that hurts. I don't know what the years are, but it hurts.
1940.
We're
but
really
that's okay.
not that old.
No,
we're just not that old.
We're not that old. So I want to start at the very beginning. No, I want to miss most of our childhood and start where the exciting thing. So one of my favorite things is how we met. I love how we met. And I also want to give a huge shout out to one of my best friends from high school, Joe. Thank you. Thank you.
You're a trooper, Joe.
You're a trooper. And trust me, it worked out for both of us. But I want to start with halfway through my junior year in high school. My family, my parents had just gone through a divorce. My mother was remarried, moved from Colorado to Southern California. And I got this crazy idea to join the choir.
Had you ever sung in the choir before?
I had as a tenor.
Ish?
Yeah, okay, ish.
That sounded like a question I had.
We'll say choir was a loose term for there were notes.
And girls.
And there were girls. And so I thought, what a great way to, when you move to a new town, is join the choir at the high school. And they put me in the lowest level introductory choir ever known, to the notes and the cockles of orchestral music. Ooh, OMD.
Oh.
Orchestral maneuvers in the dark. I haven't thought about that in a long time. Anyway, okay. So
Dating ourselves.
And I love spring of our junior year. We were at this really cool festival. Is it called a festival? What was it? We were entertaining the junior high students.
Yes. Look at what you could do when you get to the high school, kids.
Yeah. Oh, and wow. As I say it out loud, I don't think that's something I would want to say. Hey, look what you could do, kids. You could be in choir. Now, I'm not dissing choir because I got a lot of great things out of it. One, I learned how to sing both tenor, baritone, and both tenor, baritone, and bass.
Both. Yes.
Both.
All three.
All three.
Yes.
That's how I got out of math class. But we were there singing, and there was this like all girls group that got up on stage.
Hi.
And she was in it, and it was the most amazing thing because I was sitting there next to Joe, and I was like, who is that? That angel is the only thing I can hear. And you reminded me of the Carpenters.
Oh, yes.
Your voice. Oh, are you going to sing for us?
No.
Okay. Thought I'd try that. We'll try it again in another episode. And I had to find out who you were. And he goes, oh, yeah, that's Rebecca. I'm all, oh, tell me more about Rebecca. He's all, she is really cute. And so then I tried to get to know you. And you gave me the total complete cold shoulder.
What?
You did.
When did you try to get to know me junior year? When?
Well, okay, so.
I didn't get a lot of attention from people, so I can't imagine I gave you the cold shoulder.
Oh, you just kept walking. You were so intent on getting the class.
Oh, yeah, true.
That it didn't matter what I did. I couldn't get your attention, so I did something a little crazy.
Well, it's because my little legs could only take me so fast, and it was a campus that spanned across the road, like two sides of a road. So, in my defense, I had to speed walk.
You did.
So, what did you do that was so crazy? Do tell.
This sounds so weird. I don't even know why I'm bringing this up, but I just walked up, didn't even know you. I knew your name. And I just grabbed you and flipped you in the air.
That's true. That was really odd, but kind of exhilarating.
Oh, keep with that, because could you say that our marriage has been exhilarating ever since?
100%. Yes. 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 Yeah.
And then
I know. I mean, it just went on from there. He would flip me over. He'd play with my hair.
And then you broke my heart.
Well, hang on a second. We weren't dating. You're telling that story like so mixed up.
This is my story. This is how I recall it.
This wasn't until senior year. I didn't know who he was. He started flirting, but he hadn't made any major moves.
And you were going to homecoming with Joe.
Hey, you didn't ask. And Joe and I are standing in choir room one day, and we're like, are you going to homecoming? No. Are you? No. And so we're like, well, you want to go with each other?
Is that really how the invite went?
I'm not joking, which I was all for because I had a huge crush on Joe.
And you didn't even know who I was.
I
was the exhilarating guy who flipped you on the corner. And you settled for, you going? I don't know. You going? You want to go together?
You didn't ask.
Okay.
You didn't ask. So fast forward, and we're at a weekend choir retreat. And what does Mark do? He goes up to Joe and convinces him to trade dates.
You know,
without asking the girls first. He's just like, hey, you want to trade dates? And I'm going to go with Rebecca. And you can go with Tina, another girl that was in choir with us. And I don't know.
So
I mean, I guess Joe wasn't that into me. I don't know, guys.
No, he was so into you. He was so into you that and Joe, if you hear this podcast, I may have to have you on to back up my story here. You were so into Rebecca that it took a lot of
convincing. Mark is very convincing.
Well, we switched dates.
And he tells me, hey, you're going with me now.
And what was your response?
All right.
And this is why we've been married so long. She has been able to just go through life with, all right, hey, whatever.
It's my response for everything. What do you want for dinner? How about this? All right.
You know, I tried that one night. I was like, hey, guess what? We're going to your favorite place for dinner. And you're all,
what's that?
Yeah, that backfired. I couldn't even get you to come up with something. So we switched dates, and it was the best thing ever for me.
It was best for me too, because we became best friends. We were inseparable from that time forward.
And then
inseparable.
2 weeks out of high school.
Got married.
Okay.
And
well, I was going to ask. So we got married 2 weeks out of high school. When you look at our life now in the context of people are always saying, everything you touch always turns to gold. When I proposed at 18 years old, did you ever imagine that this is the life that we would have?
Yes and no.
All right, tell me more.
I would say yes, except that I could never have imagined, I didn't imagine everything that we would have to go through to get to the point where we are now. I could not have fathomed the amount of trials and the just the sheer, what's the word I'm looking for, babe? Like, I don't know, sometimes grit, just perseverance that we had to have to get here. I couldn't have imagined it.
I had no idea what I was in for.
No.
No.
You're proposing to me and we're talking about this wonderful life we're going to have, and we're 18, you guys. It was 18-year-olds know how to dream, and they know how to think that they know it all. And we were just like that.
I think that's probably what saved us. Was that dreaming?
Yes. And a lot of naysayers just said, you guys are not going to make it. And Mark and I are just stubborn enough to go, oh yeah, watch us.
That's like the ultimate fighting words. Oh no, you really can't do that. And that has plagued me through my whole life. Even in business, when someone goes, oh yeah, no, you can't do that. And I'm all, let's go.
I don't think plagued. I think that plagued would make it sound bad, and I actually think it's been something that's been good.
Oh, I think it's been something that's been good, but I think it made it very difficult for me to have some of the jobs that I did.
Yeah.
Because they would say, oh, no, you can't do it that way. And in my mind, I'm all, well, why not? Let's just try it.
That's true. There's a little bit of a, well, I can figure it out.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
And so to our detriment sometimes. But why did we decide to get married 2 weeks out of high school?
Well, okay. So you're an exercise physiologist, and one of the things that you took was biology, right?
Yes.
What is the gestational period of a female human?
Oh, for sure, 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
what I thought,
Yeah.
because that was our experience. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's like one of those miracle things or if, oops.
Big oops. I said we were inseparable.
That's amazing.
We were also teenagers.
we were teenagers, and okay, so 3 months later we have our first child. And
this is where it just gets hard. We had so many dreams about where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. And we were going to be successful like our parents were. We were going to live the dream, right?
Well, yeah, but I think if I look back on the first many years of our marriage, the hardest thing and the biggest regret I have is listening to the naysayers.
Agreed. And even to a certain extent, and don't get me wrong, our parents really did try to help. They did the best they knew how. So they helped set up a job for Mark. He started working in the mailroom at Aetna.
Remember that?
Right? And we had great insurance. Thank goodness for that, for a baby on the way. My one regret is that they didn't say, hey, you made it into college. Lots of young kids go off to college with kids. Like, go get an education, right? But they were so worried about how are you going to pay for a baby and how are you going to do this, that, and the other that we really got pushed right into full-blown adulthood, a career and a baby and trying to make life work. And And yet we were 18.
And we didn't know what we didn't know.
Yeah.
But with that being said, our parents all meant well. They didn't know what they didn't know.
Right.
And, as I look at the first several years of our marriage, we did whatever it took.
We've always done whatever it took.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
But I'm trying to think about like the turning point in my life where all of a sudden I was not going to just listen to the naysayers, and I was willing to do whatever it took to figure out how to achieve our dreams.
Well, do you remember? I mean, here we were in a full-blown career, but it didn't pay well. We were living paycheck to paycheck, and it was hard. And it just felt like there was not a way to get out of it.
Yeah, I was being passed up. So I worked for Aetna Insurance for a while. I started in the mailroom, then I got into the accounting side of things. And next thing I know, I was up in Utah with another insurance company, and I had a lot of great opportunities. But the thing that stunted me, and they kept telling me, you know what? You don't have a degree.
Yeah, I think that was probably the turning point for something needs to change, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
When they said you could make double what you're making now if you had a degree, and it doesn't even matter what the degree is. He had all the experience. At this point, I mean, we're like, I don't know, 4 years into marriage and a lot of experience and a lot of, he had the personality for it, and he had the contacts for it.
I didn't have a degree. And so finally it was like, well, then we've got to figure this thing out. And I tried to count up how many schools I went to over the years after that point, because as I think about it, I did University of Phoenix, and then I did community college, and then I was back to University of Utah, and then BYU, and just University of Phoenix again. And I think about this, how many times I started and stopped. And I actually don't have any regrets, because as I look at what we learned through the process, I'm really grateful for a couple things. Number one, as I look at how did we get through college, one of my favorite things now is our employees are like, you had so many jobs. Yeah, I had so many kids, and we had to feed them. And the thing about kids and food, they keep coming back.
They don't. It's not a one and done. Like,
no,
you can't feed them once and then it's just done.
Kittens that just keep coming back for more, and that was expensive. And so I think about all of the jobs that we had, but I think the thing that I love the most was not the jobs. It was because we laid in bed late at night dreaming of what our future could be. There was one undying aspect that I could go back and look at the many, many years that has been a constant, and that is our ability to dream and not care about what other people thought about the dream.
That's what got us through the hard times. When, by the time he was full-blown school, we had a full-blown family. We had, he'd gone here and there, but by the time we moved to Cedar City and you decided to just finish the degree, go all out, we had just had our fourth child.
And let's see, the jobs that I was having at the time, janitor at the university, janitor at Gold's Gym, and paper delivery. We were delivering papers.
Didn't pay the bills. We seriously had to, we lived on state housing. We had food stamps. We had Medicaid for the kids and 3 jobs.
And going to school full time.
It was a lot. It was a lot of sacrifice.
And do you remember, so we were delivering papers, and the lady, I don't even know how we ended up at her house. The lady that had all the rights to the newspapers in the whole county.
God.
Yeah, it really was. And she goes, hey, I'm thinking about getting out. Would you be interested in buying this business? And Becky and I were like,
Okay.
Sure. Now, how much money did we have at the time?
Negative? I don't know.
That's the answer I was going to have.
I actually have pondered this lately. How did we buy that?
I don't know, but I was hoping
I don't even know how we bought it.
It wasn't even very much money. I want to say it was like less than $2,000 we bought this business.
I want to say that maybe we paid her back.
Oh, that's what we
did.
Like
we created a contract where we paid her back through the proceeds from the business for a period of time. We must have, because we had zero. And we had broken down cars, broken down on the side of the road all the time. That's a funny story.
Yeah, amen. But we just kept going for it, and we bought the business from her. And how cool is this? We started as paper carriers when we were first married in Southern California. And here we are, several years later, going to school full time. We were a paper carrier, and then we bought the rights for every single newspaper in the whole county.
It was pretty good money, too. We built up a savings. We prepared for him being graduated and the next steps.
Bought another car that kept breaking down.
Yes.
Yeah. We were really good at that for a while.
And it was so good. Those were such hard early years, and we sacrificed greatly. But the lessons that we learned, I was just thinking about how much, especially with your bachelor's, like, I don't know how much of your bachelor's you actually ever used. However,
well, the tech bubble happened.
I mean, talk about bad luck. He had a job lined up with a great company, and we were going to be making phenomenal money. And we're like, this is it. This is where the dream comes true. And
Easy Street, here we come.
Yes.
We are moving zip codes.
Yes. And then he brought a friend with him up to the company. He's like, hey, you should come and check out this company. They're amazing. And then the bubble hit, and this company went from hiring, 20 people to like a couple. And guess who got the job?
They rescinded my offer.
They rescinded your offer and offered it to the friend.
And for a while, I don't think I've ever talked to him since. I was so mad at the time.
I know. Wasn't really his fault. That led us down a road of owning a business. We owned a bead store.
Yeah.
He got his master's degree in Logan.
Yep, Utah
State. I did daycare while he got his master's degree. He couldn't work. That was one of those degrees where you can't work and do your degree. So I was licensed through the state. The amount of things that we did, like really entrepreneurial things to just put food on the table for our family,
is amazing.
Amazing. And we had as much growth through the journey of the businesses that we started and the figure it outness that we learned in order to get by, that is just as valuable.
Marie Forleo, she has that book, Everything is Figure Outable. And I would say we were living that principle many years before that book came out, because that was always our go-to answer. Hey, we'll figure this one out.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work out, but we'll figure it out. I would say that phrase has even entered our home this week.
Oh, it's a weekly, if not daily phrase.
We'll figure it out.
It is literally how we live our life.
I also think of Richard Branson. He talks about you never say no. You just, even if you don't know how to do it, you just say, oh yeah, sure, I can sell that widget to you. I don't even know what that widget is, but I'll sell it to you and I'll figure it out. That's how we've lived our life, is everything is figure outable. But I think it springs back from high school and from our dating and from being married at 18 years old and having a child 3 months later, and then having a second one just a year and a half later, I think it was
on purpose.
Well,
That was on
yes,
purpose.
that was on. And to our firstborn, we are so grateful that you're here.
Yes.
You were never a mistake.
You were kept on purpose.
You. Oh, yeah, that's actually interesting because we were told multiple times we needed to put our child up for adoption. And that's right
People
for some
just
people.
didn't think that, and it is right for some people, but we really loved each other. And we couldn't see our lives without each other, even through all the trials. And so here we are. What do you think that our best achievement from all of that?
Ooh, our best achievement.
Or the most, maybe the most impactful, I should say.
I would say it's that never quit mentality of, we had so many years of if we quit, we literally wouldn't have food on the table for the next meal. I think that if that never quit mentality, had we quit at an earlier age with school, we would not be where we are today. Mm-hmm. And I know school is not for everyone, and I think that's okay. I think there's a lot of fabulous, great careers out there, but it was not the path that we chose. But that never quit inside is also what saved our marriage.
Agreed. Because it was hard. Starting at 18, that's a hard road.
Yeah.
And it required a lot of dedication. And we like to tell people, we've been through all of it. Like any marriage that has its trials, we've experienced them all.
Oh, amen.
And we just have a dedication, or even like a fierce dedication.
I love that word, fierce.
Me too. A fierce dedication to the sanctity of our marriage.
Yeah.
And not quitting, figuring out how to make it past whatever the trial is that we're going through.
So I guess that would be what I would say was the number one thing that I learned from our early years is that never quitting, everything is figure outable, and laugh.
Always find a way to find humor in whatever you're going through. Sometimes, actually, it was just about a year ago, we were going through something really difficult with one of our kids. And so a bunch of our kids and Mark and I were sitting around talking and laughing. And one of our kids was like, that's dark humor, right? And I was like, I don't even think I'd considered that term, but I just consider it finding a way to process that's not fetal position.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you got to find the dark humor. You just do. I just think all of those things that we had to persevere through, all of the jobs, all of the, our parents thought they were sure that we couldn't hold down a job because we'd had so many just odd jobs to get us to the point where Mark was graduated and we had a career. My mom came to me at one point and she's like, Becky, I'm really worried about Mark. Can he hold down a job? It's like, yes, Mom, he can. I promise. And my mom's good. They just cared. And so they were coming to us from a perspective of concern. But man, that resilience is what got us to the point where he's in the corporate world making, over six figures. And then I start an online boutique that's making the same as him. And we couldn't have done that without the resilience and all of the life lessons on marketing and all the life lessons on all of it.
I think just learning to work for you was a whole new ball game for me. But I think we should save that for another podcast.
We will talk about that for sure.
So, but one thing I was thinking about along with this is not only is there resilience, not only is there this idea of, never give up and having humor. I've created a really cool little download. It's like a mini chapter, I guess you could say, 10, 12 pages long with stories and with things that you can use right now to change and improve your mindset. Because I think if there's one thing I would say that we have done really, really well over the years is I'll use your word, fierce devotion to changing our mindset. And I think that is the game changer for everyone. So go to www.thehappinessbreakthrough.com/uncommon, because in that downloadable are 3 uncommon things that you could do to change your mindset today. And I think that makes a huge impact. I also think that mindset is something that we'll talk about and focus on quite a bit in this podcast.
A lot, because it made all the difference for us. And I love the journey of, so Mark's bachelor's degree was in
computer information
systems.
Yep.
His master's degree was in
instructional technology, but a focus on how humans interact with technology around us.
And then his doctorate, Dr. Leonard,
organizational leadership with positive psychology. What do those 3 things have to do with each other?
And it all melded together into us having a really strong foundation in changing how we looked at the world and changing from that victim mode. What's that book that we love?
The Power of Ted.
Power of Ted. You've got to read that book if you haven't. But changing from a serious victim mode to realizing how much control we have over our own thoughts and utilizing that to change our whole trajectory in life.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. We're going to talk more about it.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about in our next episode?
Biggest trial of our faith that led us to owning the 2 businesses that we now have, to me back in school,
to many other amazing things.
Many other amazing things. I cannot wait to share it with you.
All right. So we're just going to, the first couple of episodes, we're going to talk about a little bit about who we are and how we got to where we are. But we are quickly going to be transitioning into giving some really practical tips and ideas of things that people can do right now to improve their mindset. As a mindset expert myself, you are an absolute incredible mindset expert. We have both talked about mindset from stage. We have both have had the opportunity to focus on that, and we are both experts in this arena. Although we're not just only going to talk about mindset, we're really going to talk about frameworks and things that people can do that are really going to help them make that improvement and achieve more in their life. The word I love to use is excellence, to help people become more excellent in anything they do. And there's lots of facets to that. So we're going to talk and deep dive into those things, but I'm also really excited to share some really personal stories like trial of our faith.
Greatest trial of our faith. Coming up on episode 2.
All right, you guys. Hey, make sure that you like, share, and tell your friends about this podcast, because we want to just help make this world a happier place. We want you to have your happiness breakthrough. Thanks so much.